My name is Will Schultz, and I'm reviewing Sifu for the PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, and PC. Sifu is an action game focused around a complex combat system with a stellar learning curve that delivers on the action movie fantasy better than any game before it. Let's take a look at what made Sifu one of the most rewarding gameplay experiences I have ever had the pleasure in partaking in. Let's start with the main attraction, the combat. Sifu gives you the same toolset you've seen before, with heavy attacks, light attacks, parries, dodges, the works. What makes Sifu special is the ways that you can string those moves together, and the smooth and fluid animations that make them all kind of pop and satisfying to use. You can expand beyond that initial moveset with a series of unlockable abilities that range from the eminently practical leg sweep all the way to the devastating and hilarious nut punch. Weapons litter the levels that range from baseball bats and pipes to knives and brooms to help give you an edge in combat. Until they break, anyway. Of course, your enemies also have access to the same abilities and weapons that you do, and they are not afraid to use them to put you in your place. When enemies do get the better of you, you come back to life right on the spot, just a little bit older than when you went down. How much you age when you come back to life is dependent on the death counter. The death counter goes up when you die, and it goes down when you defeat specific powerful enemies in the level. But aging has consequences. Aging too far can lock you out of certain upgrade paths. And every 10 years that you age, your maximum HP comes down, but your damage output goes up. The changes aren't too extreme, but if you're in a really difficult situation, things can kind of snowball and it does feel a little bit like the game is plotting against you. Once you age past 70 years, you get one more chance, and then it's game over. Speaking of dying, you're going to die a lot in Sifu. Sifu is a difficult game, and it's not shy to let you know it. Sloppy combat is going to get you parried, countered, and killed. It doesn't help that most encounters are with large groups of enemies, so spatial awareness and situational control are skills that you are going to have to develop to be successful. The 5 bosses are naturally the toughest enemies in the game. Each one has their own specific set of strengths, techniques, and more often than not a unique weapon, and it's going to take more than one try for you to get past them. Speaking from experience, it took me so many tries to get past the first 2 bosses. I actually began to get frustrated, but eventually, as I ran through the stages over and over again, I learned how Sifu wanted me to make use of its toolset, and then I figured out how I'm supposed to play the game, and it went a whole lot smoother. I've made some allusions to repetition, and it's time to be frank. If you don't have godlike reflexes, you are going to have to fight bosses and run through stages many, many times. Now, I can already hear some groaning out there. Let me ease those doubts a little bit. Sifu stages are designed in a way that really minimizes the amount of running back and forth and dealing with sequences that you've already mastered. Every stage has shortcuts, and as you progress through the level, eventually you will fight a powerful enemy and get a key. So the next time you have to start that level over, you can take that shortcut, which is usually right around the beginning, and skip a substantial portion of the level to help cut down on that runtime. And that runtime is already fairly short. Even if you stop and inspect every room in a stage, you're still going to make it out in less than half an hour. Which is great if you just so happen to be a busy parent that can only play in short bursts. All of the features and systems I've mentioned so far come together to make one of the most natural and satisfying learning curves I've experienced in a video game. The first time you play Sifu, you are going to be one clumsy martial artist. You're going to miss parries, you're going to mistime your dodges, you're going to get countered, you're going to get ganged up on, and it's going to go poorly. Don't get me wrong, you'll make it to the boss, you might even beat him, but you're going to be a good deal older than you're comfortable with. The first time I cleared level 1, I was in my mid-50s. Fortunately, you can go back, replay the stage again, and if you manage to make it through at a younger age, that's the age you keep going forward. Within a few runs, my level 1 age was down to my mid-20s instead. I've repeated that process with every other boss in the game, just trying to get through a little bit faster, a little bit younger to give me that many more tries in the coming stages. This process took my techniques from sloppy and missed times to well-conditioned and second nature, I was bursting through doors and dispatching 2 or 3 enemies before the rest of the group was even alerted to me. I felt like a movie star, and it was fantastic. It's so satisfying. Here at Megadads, we're focused on gaming from a parental perspective, so I would be remiss if I didn't mention that Sifu is not a game for younger players or viewers. As I'm sure you can imagine, Sifu gets fairly violent, especially when things like knives come into play. This is one for the Megadads and the Mega Moms, not the Mega Kids. Sifu is a tough taskmaster. It isn't afraid to put you down time and again until you learn what it wants you to learn. At its most punishing, Sifu's aging system can make your failures snowball into an unwinnable situation. But if you can persevere and get acclimated to the game, Sifu is an incredible action-packed experience thanks to its intuitive combat system and superb level design. My final score for Sifu is 5 out of 5. Thank you so much for watching this Megadads review. Be sure to leave a comment below with your thoughts on Sifu, and give us a thumbs up if we did a good job. You can see more content just like this by subscribing to the channel and clicking the bell to get updates when we upload content. You can find me over on Twitter at WondrousWill, and we'll see you next time over at Megadads, where gamer life meets real life.